And then the question that I want to ask is, how do Jack or in Twitter or Square they see Japanese market? So a lot of American companies, they want to get a piece of Japanese market before they go public, because Japan is like the third biggest market, right? Is Japan just like the third biggest market to make revenue for them, or is this something special for Twitter or Square in regard to their expansion to Japan?
No, I think it's a great question. I think if you start, so the first thing I would say is Japan's not the third biggest market. It's the second biggest market because China's not available to any of the companies we back. And no venture capitalist worth their salt would encourage their companies to go to China. If you get a very high quality group like Sequoia or GGV come in and they want to guide them into China, right, you would take it more seriously. But my gosh, that's still a wasteland. That's the view. And it's changing in a good way, but still tough. So realistically, Japan's the second largest market. I think that at the first level, everybody would say, gosh, we'd love to have Japan. And then you get into it and you basically 95 to 98% of the experience around the table, whether it's board or executive, have had horrible experiences trying to crack the Japanese market. And that's just because they've gone about it all wrong. And then you get the few that have had great experiences in Japan, like, oh my gosh, does this juice our revenue? If you can get in Japan and build trust and get to the level of performance you need to keep those players, it's very high margin. And lo and behold, gosh, just competing in Japan makes us a better company. And oh my gosh, you walk into Indonesia or Singapore or Vietnam or whatever, they pay attention to whether you've won Toyota or whether you've won Mitsubishi Bank or whether you've won Yamato. Like if you can win those customers, you're going to have a lot of political air cover if you're a regional bank or a regional, a regional manufacturer, retailer, whatever it may be. So I think that's where it sort of splits off, is that you get these people that either have had good or bad experiences. The classic bad experience in Japan falls into at least two really common categories. One is they hire a consultant who's had one, maybe successful experience in Japan or one or two successful experiences in Japan.
Right.
And they basically say, the route I went 10 years ago with this company is the route I'm going to take you. And I'm going to take you through all the people I know. And the odds of those being the right people to grow your company are pretty much zero. And this is the reason what we do with a company is we put them up to 30 buying groups or 40 buying groups across all these different corporations to see what the general traction is. We don't have any biases, and we in fact have competitors within our LP base because we're not there to serve them at the expense of the entrepreneur. We're there to serve the entrepreneur first, and they know that. And the other one is you just see people say, we're going to go get Japan. Let's go hire people and put them on the street. And the difference in the people you can attract. So when you hire somebody in Japan as a head of Japan, you want somebody super experienced, Japanese, they've had success in the past, they've done multiple things. Well, the person you can hire, if you go in as XYZ startup from Benchmark or Sequoia, like get people's attention. But if you go in and you have that same syndicate, and before you even put people on the ground, you found a way to sell into Mitsubishi Bank and a Yamato and and a Suntory. Well, then you land and you've got these 3 tier 1 world-class customers. The caliber of person you can hire as a head of Japan,
Very
the root.
interesting.
And then you as you expand, and this is fundamental rule of global expansion, is when you go into a country, your first hire is 95% of your success. And if you get an okay person or a mediocre person, you're probably going to have okay or mediocre performance, which is not what you want in Japan. And if you can win the market, holy mackerel. I mean, you look at the story of Square when they went public. They went public on 2 international markets, the UK and Japan. And Japan was a great part of their story.